Hey everybody, David here, and today I want to talk about the original Aladdin film that was released in November of 1992. I originally saw this movie when I was really young. If it was 1992, I was probably still 9 years old. I remember back during that time, I wasn't too much into like the Disney animated films. I was always dragged to them, and once I watched them, then I would like them afterwards. I wouldn't want to go and see them firsthand. My parents would take me, and then I would be like, "Hey, I actually like that." But yes, Aladdin is one that I have very fond memories of as I grew up. This is one that definitely I would rewatch as one of the most Disney animated films, and one that is currently in my top two today. It's between that and The Lion King as my top two. Before they used to switch a lot. It would be Lion King sometimes, then it would be Aladdin other days. I think I came to a conclusion that Aladdin is my second favorite, and it's been staying there mostly. But I still really love this movie. I mean, Aladdin, all the characters in this film are really enjoyable. Starting with the main character himself, Aladdin. How can you not relate to someone that struggles through life? That's not he doesn't have much money to go through. I think it's and someone who dreams of being something more. I think that's a character that anybody can relate to. I think Princess Jasmine is actually the best female princess. Of course, female princess. I think she is the best princess that Disney has created. To this day, I will say that Jasmine is probably the best. And this is coming from a guy that the princess is usually well, not my favorite in these Disney animated movies, especially the classic ones. They were too needy, maybe? I don't know. But and they always wanted the prince to rescue them. Jasmine was a kind of character that she can take care of herself. She didn't really need Aladdin. In some ways, Aladdin and Jasmine were probably equals. She was just living in a time where she wasn't being treated like an equal, but wanted that. And I feel she earns it by the end of it. So I really think Jafar and Iago are great villains. So much so that I love whenever Disney puts them in something like Kingdom Hearts or House of Mouse. If you guys ever remember that TV show, The House of Mouse, Jafar and Iago and other Disney villains, some of my favorites, would always appear on that show. And there were some other appearances they always made at the theme parks and stuff like that. So Jafar and Iago, there was some great chemistry there between those two actors, voiced by Jonathan Freeman and voiced by Gilbert Godfrey. I think both of them do a terrific job. So much so that they even brought Jonathan Freeman, the voice actor who did Jafar. He actually reprised the role of Jafar, even in the besides video games and other animated projects. He played the role again in the Broadway musical. I thought that was an interesting piece of trivia when I learned about that, especially when I downloaded the soundtrack for the Broadway musical and heard that he had a couple of songs in there. I was like pleasantly surprised because I do think Jafar has a lovely singing voice, just like everybody else in the film. Of course, you can't go through an Aladdin review without talking about the genie, who is probably the most important aspect of the movie, played by Robin Williams in the original film, who blows it out of the water. He is phenomenal, and if there's anyone that's going to do impressions and this crazy voice work, something that had never been done before with an actor in a animated film, they never got a celebrity of that caliber where Robin Williams, they let him go all out, and they just saw what they could take and used it, and you get some of the best moments in the film, some of the best jokes in the film. So clearly they rolled the dice, and they rolled it good because it paid off. It was the highlight of the movie. Some people would say it's the best part about the movie. I would agree, but I think there are other things that sometimes people overlook as well, as some of the characters I already mentioned. And the story, I think the story is really relatable to, I mean, we all have goals, and sometimes it's not simply having a wish and getting it. Sometimes it's just being an honest person, a good person, and working hard at what you want. And Aladdin goes through some of that. So yeah, I think this movie still holds up. The animation still. I think all the Disney nine Renaissance era animated films and onwards, the animation for these films really hold up. Unlike the older Disney films from like I would say the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. I think a lot of them, the animation is a little rough, especially in the 60s to 80s era. I think Little Mermaid was the first one that the animation started really looking beautiful again. And that's not a knock on some of those films. There are movies from those eras too that I enjoy, but not to the extent of where the Little Mermaid starts. I think that began a whole new era of Disney animation. That I think that's why a lot of people in my generation really hold them near and dear. Uh, and the music, of course, you can't not talk about the music. The music during this time of Disney animation is so iconic. A lot of my generation loves, I think, singing along with a lot of these songs. I know me and my brothers and some of the girlfriends that we've had throughout the years enjoyed singing along with some of them. So, with Aladdin, a whole new world, obviously, the Academy Award winner for that one was a highlight. And A Friend Like Me, sung by Robin Williams. Prince Ali was pretty catchy too, and One Jump. And I think even Jafar gets a little song at the end, which I thought Jafar should have had a longer verse. I felt because I wanted to hear Jonathan Freeman sing as Jafar a little bit longer. Funny enough, the actor who did the voice of um, Aladdin was Steve from Full House. They even did a Full House episode where they go to Disney World, and there is a moment where DJ sees Steve as Aladdin. I thought was a nice little wink to the camera. Although I realized that later on in life that was the same actor who did the voice. So that was cool. And the animated film itself, like I said, the Disney era starting from Little Mermaid onwards, that's where the movies really hold up for me. Up to Tarzan. I think after Tarzan is where the Disney films are hit or miss. Like, I do really like Atlantis, The Lost Empire. Emperor's New Groove has actually grown on me. I rewatched that recently, and it's not a bad film. But Aladdin definitely is one that is why I think a lot of people are really nervous about this upcoming live action Aladdin. I'm hoping it's going to be a good movie, and I'm going to go see it this weekend. So we'll see if it lives up. I'm not going to hold that because even though I really like the live action Beauty and the Beast, I still look at the animated version of that film superior, and the live action Beauty and the Beast just made me look at it and say, well, even though it was good, it wasn't necessary. It didn't make any changes that made me go, well, that needed to be in the live action. I mean, in the animated one. I think I would prefer the animated one still over the live action one, even though it is cool to see those characters in that world come to life, especially how they brought the castle from Beauty and the Beast and a lot of those scenes in imagery to life. So I'm hoping this live action Aladdin movie will do the same for me. It will bring that world to life and see things in live action that I thought, wow, this used to be an animated thing and now I'm seeing it come to life. That's what I'm hoping this new movie would do. And of course, with Robin Williams and Will Smith, you have to separate yourself. Robin Williams was great for this film, this animated movie. We got to judge Will Smith on his own merits and the style and the tone that they give that movie too. So we'll see. But for now, this movie is definitely a 9 out of 10 for me, the original animated film. If you've never seen the original animated film, treat yourself. Although I don't know why you wouldn't have. Maybe you're someone that was too young and didn't get that chance. Go find this movie. It is worthwhile. If you love animated movies or if you enjoy them to some extent, believe me, this is one that's worthy to check out. So with that being said, I hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe to my channel, especially if you are a fan of Disney animation or movies in general. Superhero movies, fantasy, sci-fi, I love it all. Certain subjects I'll talk about more than others, like this. Yeah, and yes, I will review the other two Aladdin animated films before I see the live action film. I'll make this an all out Aladdin week. Why not? And so, with that being said, until next time, everybody, take care.